Welcome back, friends, to another incredible episode of the Fit Life Orange County. Before I tee up today's guest, I want to give you a friendly reminder to give us a like and subscribe on YouTube and write us an amazing review on iTunes. That way we can keep producing this content for you for free. So now to introduce today's guest, who's a dear friend of mine. He is the owner, along with his wife, of Sway Ballroom Dancing here in South Orange County. And today you're going to be learning how to build more confidence and increase your social network so you can live a happier and healthier life. Mr. Matt Brown, welcome to the show.
Welcome to the Fit Life Orange County, a show dedicated to busy men and women focused on taking back control of their fitness and their lives with the help from ideas and programs from local experts here in Orange County. Here are your hosts, Bryce Henson and Jake Stewart.
All right, my friends. Well, Matt Brown, welcome to the show. Super excited to have you on the Fit Life Orange County podcast.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely. Well, we've been friends for a while. Your wife, Lisa, comes to our boot camp, so we have a good relationship. I'm really excited to kind of dive in, learning a little bit more about the dancing industry. And certainly that's, bodies moving and health and wellness, which is the theme of our show. But first and foremost, Matt, we just want to get some insight. How did you get in the dancing business, and what's the origin story of Sway Ballroom Dancing?
Hopefully not. I'll try to keep it short here. So I was about 20 years old, and I was taking, I had a friend who was taking lessons. Growing up, I grew up in Northern California. I had a friend who was taking some lessons at a studio nearby us, and she said, "Hey, Matt, go sign up on the guest special and get me a free lesson." I said, "Sure, why not? I'll check it out." So I signed up, thinking I knew what I was talking about. Said I want to learn salsa. Had no idea what salsa was. It just sounded cool, right? And after the third lesson, yeah, it was fun. After the third lesson, I was hooked. And so I took lessons there on a regular basis. I then ended up, because I was young and I picked up quickly, they asked me to become an instructor. And so I did that for a while up there, moved to Southern California, had a roommate who had this, we both competed, but at one point in time, he had this nerdy little girl move out from Boston to be dance partners with him. And one day he had a date and said, "Hey, Matt, go sign up, or not go sign up. Go, can you help me, watch Lisa, hang out with Lisa because I have a date." And I was like, "Okay, sure, whatever, I'll do it." So we hung out, we watched The Departed, just had a good time. We got to know each other, and over time, eventually we started dating, and then we got married. And so shortly after we got married, actually, we were both working for the same studio, and the studio owner decided to close the doors suddenly. And so we thought, well, we've talked about opening up our own studio in the past. Do we do it now? We figured, why not? We already have a student base since the other studio closed. So we hustled. We ended up working out of a ballet studio for a few months while we were trying to find space, get everything put together, organize everything to open the business, get permits, all that fun stuff. And then finally, summer of 2012, we ended up opening up Sway Ballroom Dance. So it's been exciting and fun, and just dancing the days away ever since.
Holy smokes, that's an incredible origin story. We're shooting this in 2020, but you're 10 years in, and more to come, which is incredible. Now, I want to kind of dive into a little bit about Sway Ballroom to kind of find out what type of services or classes that you offer, and really what's your area of expertise and something that you do really well at here at Sway Ballroom Dance.
Yeah, there's a couple different ways, a couple different studio models you could go. Similar with the gym models, I'm sure there's different ways and different focuses you can have. We teach competitive students and those who want to compete, pro-am, nationally, in small local competitions or much larger competitions around the country. But what we do well, and we focus on mostly, is the social dancer. The dancers who, they don't want to feel awkward at a wedding, or they want to look cool and have a couple fun steps at the salsa club or at the country bar or wherever they may be dancing socially. So that's our main focus, is that social aspect of it.
Yeah, totally. So would it be fair to say then, being more of a social thing in terms of, getting better at just the local dance club, or, getting ready for your marriage, you're probably not having a ton of experience with your dancers to start. Would that be fair to say?
You mean as far as the students that walk in the door?
Yeah, like the average student coming in, do they have a lot of dancing experience, or are they coming in for their first time?
Yeah, most students who walk through the door have little to no experience. I mean, oftentimes, you have women who took ballet or jazz or something as a kid growing up, but then they haven't done it for 20 years. And so, for the most part, and guys, very, very, very few guys have any dance experience at all. And so, most people who walk in the door, they walk in saying they have two left feet, and we're like, perfect. That means if that's your attitude, you're gonna be open-minded and willing to learn.
That's awesome. Now, on that same vein, what would you say that average person coming off the street, like what type of concerns do they have? That little voice in our heads that we're in the head that we all have. What sort of concerns or areas of nervousness does someone coming into your doors you typically have?
Yeah, I said there's probably one or two things that students probably feel the most before they walk in the door. One is that they just like they're not coordinated enough, and so they might see it on TV, Dancing with the Stars, or in a movie, or wherever they see it. They need to realize when they're watching on TV or in a movie that those people have been practicing for hours and hours and hours. So most people feel like, again, they're just not coordinated, and so they don't know if they can do it in the first place. Where if they just realize that most people start at the same level, that they're going to be just fine. So the uncoordinatedness is probably one of the feelings that people get. And then also people oftentimes feel they're going to embarrass themselves when in reality, like I said, just about everybody started in the same spot and nobody's actually watching them. They're always focused on their own problems, right?
It's so true. And, me being in the fitness space, that's just a common misconception. You come in, you think everyone's watching you. And the reality is everyone's just trying to keep up and do their own thing. And it sounds like it's the same
for sure.
As well.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, I want to dive into some success stories. Before I do, just remind our audience, I believe, Sway, you offer a variety of classes from, I guess all the different genres. So can you remind the offering that you have? And then also, too, maybe the most popular type of dance class that the average person jumps into?
Yeah, for sure. So what we offer for anybody who walks in the door is a complimentary private lesson, just to give you a chance to check it out, try it out, talk with an instructor one-on-one or one-on-two if you're a couple, and talk about what you're looking for as far as the dancing goes. And then for any listener who mentions this podcast, who gives us a call, we're also going to offer them an additional group class and dance party for them to try out and experience, and you get the whole spectrum of what we offer at the studio. So, and then as far as what most people want to learn, again, it kind of depends on their needs. If they want to go to a salsa club, we focus on some of the salsa, Latin, social dances. If they want to go to, a country bar, we focus on the country two-step and a couple different styles of swings. If they want to feel comfortable at a wedding, then there's, foxtrot, rumba, swing, which is probably the most three common styles of dancing you dance to some variation in that type of social environment. So, but then we also do tango, and basically, you see it on Dancing with the Stars, you look up partner dancing online, and we probably teach it.
Oh, that's incredible. And what percent, but by the way, thank you for that special offer, which is above and beyond. So for all of our listeners, make sure to reach out to Matt and his team, and that way you can get started on that special deal. Aside from that, it's a lot of partner dance work, but then you also said group. What percentage of, your offering is one-on-one private or one-on-two, and then versus, the group dancing?
So in general, most people do the private lessons just because, like anything in life, the one-on-one focus, you're going to learn faster than in the group environment. The group environment is great because, you socialize, you meet new people, you get different perspectives from different teachers teaching the different styles of dance. And so a lot of people do that, but most people do those private lessons just because they find that they get more bang for their buck because they're learning at a faster rate. And then people like the parties too, just because it's a perfect practice environment before they go out into the real world and try it out.
Oh yeah, no, that makes a ton of sense. All right, we've been talking about people and kind of hypothetical, clients that are nervous or scared, but they're excited. They see some Dancing in the Stars. They're getting married. They, come to your door. Maybe share some success stories, one or two, one of your most memorable, if I could say that correctly, success stories, and I think that will really help color in some details and value to our audience.
Yeah, one guy that always comes to mind whenever people ask me about that type of question. We had one guy. He was in his early to mid 50s. Total engineer type, kind of nerdy, socially awkward tendencies, but really nice, really sweet guy. And again, because he was a little socially awkward at first, it was just awkward. But over time, I remember one time, it was 6 months, maybe a year after he started dancing. I said, "Hey, dude, how's it going? How's the dancing feeling?" He goes, "Matt, I don't know why I didn't start this sooner. I'm having so much fun. I love this." And he was actually one of the favorites that the ladies liked dancing with at the parties because he was a good, solid lead. He was comfortable with the transitions, and he was just a really all-around, generally nice guy. So it was great to get that feedback from him when he had that enthusiasm about why he didn't know why he waited so long to start dancing. So, and then I have another student that comes to mind. She actually, her husband, they're a young family. Her husband's super athlete, did triathlons, different types of races, and I think he was maybe 38 or in his early 40s, and he died of a heart attack suddenly, and she was left with 3 teenage boys. And so as far as the grieving process for her went, she started dancing just to get out and, have a distraction. And she still takes lessons from us and actually competes with a different amateur partner. But she says that the dancing was some of the best therapy she have had in the grieving process of losing her husband.
Holy smokes. Both of those stories are so interesting. And my next question, actually, Matt, was, this is a health and fitness show. The vision, the mission is to introduce awesome people like you, entrepreneurs that are making a difference in our community. So I wanted to kind of unpack the curtain from your perspective on how you're helping Orange County with their fitness, whether it be physical, mental, general wellness. So I do want to ask you that question, give you some space. But the two things I heard actually are counterintuitive to me when I think of dancing. I heard the first success stories was confidence. And the second was that community basically helped with grievance. So can you kind of color in any more details on how you're helping the health and wellness of our community here in Orange County?
Yeah, for sure. We, dancing is a fun activity. A lot of people are, like we mentioned earlier, nervous to start for whatever reason. But when I talk to my team, my teachers, we're always talking about how dancing, learning to dance in itself is great. It's fun, but dancing is usually a tool that we can use to accomplish a different goal. Whether it's building self-confidence, whether it's therapy like it was for this one woman, whether it's exercise. I mean, we all know that the gym and weight resistance training and that's good exercise, but sometimes people they don't want to go run on the treadmill. They don't want to do whatever it is. Their routine is the gym, and dancing is also just a different fun form of exercise.
Yeah, that's incredible. Exercise from a mental perspective, and then, like I said, just the confidence and also the sense of community. I mean, studies always show the people that take care of themselves, that eat well, exercise, but also have a good social network of people, typically lead happier, healthier, and longer lives as well. So I'd imagine this all kind of comes to fruition in full circle.
Yeah, for sure.
Copy that. Well, Matt, you've been gracious with your time. We still have some time left for the lightning round, which I want to dive into if you're up for it.
Yeah, sure.
What's up, my friend? Coach Bryce here. Now, you might know me as the co-host of this podcast and the owner of Mission Viejo Fit Body. But what many people don't know is that I began my journey as a fitness transformation story. You see, circuit training and nutrition coaching absolutely changed my life after being overweight with a diet of mainly fast food in my late teens. Now, upon my fitness transformation in early 2007, yes, I gained a much better physique as I was overweight and lacked lean muscle. But way more than burning fat and building lean muscle, I increased my confidence, my energy, and my vibrancy to live life. And it's for these reasons that many people join our boot camp. In fact, with our Ultimate Transformation Program, we guarantee that you'll lose at least 15 pounds in 12 weeks, or your program is free until you do. Now go ahead and visit our website at missionviejofitbody.com. Now thanks, and back to the show. Let's go. Passion, you're a passionate guy. Certainly you got exposed to dancing at a young age. I would imagine you're still very passionate about your calling, helping your team, helping your clients. But what would you say is your biggest passion these days, and why?
Me personally, my biggest passion is my kids. We have 4 young kids between the ages of, well, one's about to turn 9 on Sunday, but between the ages of, I guess, 3.5 and 9, and everything I do and busting my butt and doing the studio stuff and just everything life related is for those 4 kids.
Oh, good on you. Yeah, you got an awesome family. Now, let me ask you this, actually. Do your kids ever go to the studio, and have you ever had them partake in any dancing as well?
Yeah. When the first one was born, both my wife and I were teaching pretty much full time. And so the oldest one was there for the first 2 years of her life. And it was great because we had, 30 babysitters every time we showed up to the studio. And then the second one came along, and then we had a baby in the studio and a 2-year-old. And at that point, the 2-year-old was opening up drawers, pulling papers out. And we were like, okay, this isn't going to work. So then my wife and I ended up taking turns. And then progressively, as each kid came along, my wife took a step back more and more and more. And once the 4th one came along, it was like, okay, you focus on the kids and home, I'll focus on the studio. Obviously, we meet in the middle and we chat about both home life and work and studio life. But yeah, the kids have always been involved. The kids love coming to the studio. They just sit there watching it. And then the 2 older ones are in the kids program that we have. And we're actually building that currently. So wow. Yeah, the kids love it.
Can you talk about that for a second? I mean, you said you're starting a program for kids, and, I guess give a little overview.
Yeah, so we sort of, this last year we've been just experimenting with different ways of running the kids program. This year, this fall, we're really organizing it with a syllabus and structure and procedure. We have a beginner kids class on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4:30, and then an intermediate/advanced kids class on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5:15. And the kids, they learn the different dances. Oftentimes, about half the time the kids who are in the program currently, they actually compete, whether it's with an instructor or whether it's with another amateur partner of theirs that we find. And then we also have performance opportunities for the kids, and whether they perform in the studio, in-house showcase, or again at the competition, or main showcases where we do them on stage in a theater where a bunch of family and friends come in to watch and support. So the kids program it's fun, and it's exciting, and it's growing.
Yeah, I love that. And also too, I mean, it kind of fits the mission of this show, because certainly you're getting social skills, developing those for the children. And on that note, I'm sure they walk away from that experience understanding teamwork and also with a higher level of confidence. So I think I can see that being a huge win-win-win.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
All right, next question. What's a unique value bomb about the dancing business in general that most people who are going to enter it from a client perspective should know, but for whatever reason they don't, or is the common misconception?
A unique value bomb. I would say that again, going back to, this is not everybody, but most people are a little hesitant or resistant for whatever reason before they walk in the door. And almost every single person that walks through the door says, that if they're having a bad day, they leave happier than they showed up. And those who who dance, for an extended period of time, they say how it's improved their lives because it's a distraction from some of the stresses that life can bring. I mean, especially the last 2 or 3 years with the pandemic and everything going on. That's we're sort of the anti-social distancing activity, but people love it, and it's just a great stress relief. And I can almost guarantee that you will leave happier when you leave than before you walked in.
Heck yeah. And you know what? It's interesting. I mean, it's been a very challenging year, a couple of years for humanity, as you mentioned. But one of the biggest travesties is, human beings, the way our species is wired, we need connection. We crave that. We're built on relationships. So, I have a lot of respect for what you're doing, because you're building community, instilling confidence, providing skill sets, and making people healthier and happier, which is the calling of this show. And so I can have a lot of respect for that. All right, my friend. Next question. Nothing to do specifically dancing, unless you want to make it about it. But we're here in Orange County. Beautiful place. You're originally from Northern California. I'm from the Midwest. And I feel like so lucky to live here and in Orange County. Where can we find you and your family kind of hanging out, maybe a local spot, a restaurant, an area, to provide our viewers maybe a unique opportunity to hang out in a place of Orange County they haven't considered?
Yeah. As a family or young kids, or some of our options are a little limited. But one place that we like to go hang out at is High Park Tap House in Mission Viejo, because they got a great beer selection. The pizza's great. The other non-pizza food items are delicious. And they have video games the kids can play. And because it's a pizza place, that the kids can be almost as loud as they want to be, and nobody's going to hear them. So High Park Tap House in Mission Viejo is awesome. And then I was actually talking to my wife about this last night. The one place that we like to go to when we don't have kids, and it's fun as a date night or it's fun with a group of people, is the Ranch up in Anaheim. Because again, good food, good drinks, live band. It is a country bar, so you're gonna get all country music, but they have line dancing and other, two-step and other just dance stuff that. I'm a big country music listener myself, so it's just a lot of fun for me personally.
Heck yeah. Well, we got more than we bargained for. We got a date night recommendation, and we got a family focused recommendation. So to our audience, there we go. All right, next up, our audience I know would like to keep in touch. Do you have a website or social media handles or phone number? What would be the best place if they're interested in taking that next step to find you?
And so you can check us out at SwayBallroomDance.com, and, on Instagram or Facebook at Sway Ballroom Dance. And then phone number 949-297-3840.
All right, there we go. Well, my friend, this has been incredible. I have one last question, which is really the parting piece of wisdom for our audience who's maybe thought about dancing for a while. They've seen the Dancing with the Stars. Maybe they're getting married, or a variety of a few different options, and they're interested in taking that leap of faith and really, trying out Sway Ballroom. But for whatever reason, they're nervous, they're scared, they're apprehensive. What would that parting piece of wisdom be?
I'd say just walk through the door. The hardest part is always walking through the door. Once you walk through the door, you'll realize it's not as intimidating as you thought it was going to be. And I think that, the memories that are seared into our brains that we cherish the most are always those exciting or new adventurous, things that we've done in our lives that we've accomplished, whether it was we were excited about doing or whether we were nervous about doing. I think dancing is one of those activities that, just walk through the door and you'll love it.
Love it. Well, before we wrap today, Matt, I just want to acknowledge you. Thanks for being on the show. But more than that, just thanks for being an awesome guy, an awesome family man. Both you and your wife, Lisa, are incredible and doing amazing things. And the fact you have a family here and just really adding a lot of value to our community here in Orange County says a lot. So I want to acknowledge you for that. Thank you for being on the show, and more than that, being a friend.
Yeah, thanks.
So really appreciate having you on.
Perfect.
All right,
it was a blast. I love it. Thanks, Bryce.
You got it, my friend. Well, friends, I know you got a ton of value today. Assuming you did, give us a like and subscribe on YouTube. Write us an awesome review on iTunes, and if you'd be so kind, drop your biggest takeaway in the comments. We'd love to engage and really stay connected. And until next time, we'll see you in the next episode. Thanks again, Matt.